he'd passed out while trying to be so stoical. So she let him talk until he stopped, and they stayed there, waiting, and no one came. She decided to leave him. At the precise moment she reached that decision, like a truck driving into a concrete wall, she knew that she wouldn't. The universe crumpled and blew apart, and at the center of it she exclaimed, "This is fucking ridiculous." She creaked to her feet, pulling him by a limp limb. "Get your backside into the fucking boat." She had to help him walk, and he nearly hit his head on the low door at the stern of the narrowboat as she guided him in, and was unconscious, bleeding out on her white faux leather couch before she had got her boots off. Chapter 2. Time goes a little peculiar when you're not feeling so sometimes you wake and you remember that you will be an old man, and that the one you love will die, and you can't work out if they die or you first. Which would be more scary? Who will be strongest without love? Alone? Loveless? Devoid? What is worse, for you to lose the one you love, or for the one you love to be destroyed by losing you? The man on the couch is vaguely aware, when he's aware of much of anything at all, that he's hit his head, and that's making things a little... Neela wrung out blood-red water from her third favourite tea towel into the mop bucket at her feet, and the bleeding still wouldn't stop, and there was silence on the canal and silence on the water. In the early years, when she had first started sailing, Neela had thought she'd love the quiet, and for a week after buying the Hector, she hadn't slept, in terror at the roar of whispers over still water, the creaking, the lapping of liquid, the insect hiss of thin ice popping before the bow of a passing boat, the roar of a generator, the chug-chug-chug of the engine, the beating of wings, birds not really built for flight, hounding each other half in sky, half on land for food or sex, or maybe just something to do. When exhaustion kicked in, she'd slept like a log. And now she understood the silence of the canal wasn't silence at all. If anything, it was a racket, annoying in its persistence. Not tonight. Tonight, the silence made her nervous, made her think too much. She'd come to the canal to get away from thinking. Alone. Once you'd thought everything there was to think, there was only being quiet left. She turned on the radio and listened to Pepsi Liverpool versus Cheap Flights for You Manchester, even though she didn't really like football. Chapter 3. At the beginning of all things. The man lies on the couch, and dreams and memories blur in a fitful crimson smear of paint. Maybe it hadn't been the beginning, but in his dreams it seems there must have been a point where it all started, where everything changed. Back when he had a job, back when job seemed like the most important thing ever. Back in the Criminal Audit Office, before the winter and the snow and the blood. At the beginning, there had been... It seemed ludicrously banal now, but it was perhaps the place where it all went to piss. A training weekend. The weekend was voluntary. If you did not attend, you would be docked 1 week's pay and a note put on your file, BBA. No one knew what BBA stood for, but the last woman to have these fated letters added had been given a job at a morgue, showing family members the corpses of their loved ones. Besides, everyone knew that team players were happy volunteers. The teamwork bonding experience cost £172, payable at sign-up. On the first day, he was told to put a cork in his mouth, stand in front of his colleagues, and explain his beliefs and values. "Come on, Mr. Miller," exclaimed the Management Strength Inspiration Course leader. "Enunciate." The man called Theo Miller hesitated, hoping the burning in his face could be mistaken for the